This show is powered by BL3P, the Lightning-enabled European Bitcoin exchange.
Connect the build.
John's Beharry from PeakShift, Bolt.fun, Hub21, Belgrade.
The term barbecue has its origins in the Arawakan language of the Taino people of the Caribbean. Early Spanish explorers adopted the word barbacoa to describe the method of slow cooking meat over an open flame or on a grill. Are you attending our meetup at Brai, the best barbecue place in Amsterdam, on October 11 and 12?
Yes.
The Lightning Network is mature enough for mass adoption.
Yes.
Not being present at Build on Bitcoin is one of my biggest regrets of the year so far.
No.
Drive chain is a concept related to blockchain technology, particularly in the context of Bitcoin. It's a proposed sidechain construction framework that aims to enable new features and capabilities in a more decentralized and secure manner without making fundamental changes to the Bitcoin protocol itself. Do we need this, John?
No comment.
AI and Bitcoin are the perfect combination.
Yes.
Are you planning to install a Lightning-enabled cocktail machine at the BitcoinHub?
Yes.
I own more than 5 kilograms of jewelry and accessories.
No.
Ivar is a vegetable relish made principally from red bell peppers and eggplant. It originates from the Balkans in southeastern Europe and is very common in traditional restaurants throughout Serbia. Do you prefer Ivar over ketchup?
Yes.
There are 33 wallet projects on Bolt.fun. Can you name all of them?
No.
Are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
Yes.
Welcome to the Connect the World weekly podcast. I'm Edward.
And I'm Steph. We are ready to take you with us into the beautiful world of the Lightning Network.
Enjoy the ride. This is episode 87 of Connect the World, and this show is made possible by our friends BL3P. Thank you guys for helping us out to connect the world. Of course, that's our mission. So if you want to help out, and of course you want to do that, then follow us on Twitter, subscribe at our YouTube channel. And if you have any question at all for us, then go to our Telegram group and ask them and we will answer. And of course, you can also make a donation. Let's head over to the Lightning Notes.
Connect o
Because
mundo.
this week, Lisa Niegut, Nifty from Base58, told us something very interesting. Because she is a Lightning protocol engineer at Blockstream, for those who don't know her. And she also runs Base58, and that's a Bitcoin protocol company. With Base58, she put up a Bitcoin Plus developer-focused conference series. And they place a heavy emphasis on long-form lectures and workshops with smaller, more focused audiences who are excited to get deeper into the cutting edge of Bitcoin tech. And their conferences always take place at various locations around the world with a range of experts and educators who are going to speak there all across the Bitcoin tech ecosystem. So it's very interesting, of course, to attend. And their latest conference will be held in Berlin on 6 and 7 October. And I see some of the speakers, Ben Ark, I see here, Kale, Nifty, of course, herself, Kar Dong he's a sovereign engineer, and some other interesting speakers to listen to.
Mighty Edward Hollander.
Yeah, that would be nice because Berlin is not so far. So next time, Lisa, ask us to be there, and we'll be there.
I would love to see the Berlin nights with you, Edward. I don't think you will survive, man.
No, really?
No, they're heavy, man. They're heavy.
Well, I would say the Bitcoin Plus Plus, go there. It's to create a solid base that will make it easier to develop future Bitcoin projects, because they're talking about NIX, and NIX has to do with reproducibility, so making it heaven for developers in the Bitcoin space to start developing more. So if you're interested, then go to BTC. pp.dev, or follow them on Twitter at BTC++, and then you're set to go.
Connetti
Welcome,
il
Johns.
mondo.
Welcome, Johns. I can't remember, Johns, if you said to the question, are you Satoshi Nakamoto, if you said yes the first time. But I mean,
Well,
3 times, you know what they say. So if it's yes, then...
it must be true. It must be true, right? Hey, like if it's not on the blockchain, then it's not true.
No, that's right. Great to have you back on the show, man.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
I think we definitely need to have chats like outside of this, because I just really enjoy. What's the word? I forget the word.
Gezellig.
Vasella?
Yeah,
Gezellig.
gezellig.
Vasella.
But we were told that the G is the most difficult letter in the Dutch alphabet. So
It is. My mother is Spanish, and they can't pronounce it because the G.
yeah, but it's Jorge, right? It's the same.
No,
Jorge.
that's the.
the J.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
but,
right.
But the pronunciation is the same.
But it's difficult to get it out of your system.
Oh, Ramon, please clip this. What did you think?
Yeah.
What did you have for dinner? I had one tonight.
It's like how do you say that? Sizzle speech? No, the Harry Potter speech, right? The snake.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What?
Hey, you were no, Steph, go.
Yeah, I was asking.
go
I
ahead.
wanted to ask Johns because we said, "Are you attending our meetup at Brai in October?" And he said, "Yeah." So I think we have a deal, right?
I mean, I think at this point I'm gonna have to make it, especially if we're gonna be doing more things together and stuff. So
Awesome.
we gotta do it.
Looking
Yeah, I
forward
mean,
to it.
it's-
And both
it's-
nights, eh?
It's both nights. It's 11
Yeah.
and 12 October, and these are not just dates we picked, but it's because of the Bitcoin Amsterdam conference that's held in Amsterdam this year too. So and the first the Wednesday evening is focused on Nostr, and the Thursday evening is focused on the connected world, so on the Lightning Network. So
and talking with Bitcoin and Lightning enthusiasts who been to the conference all day. So there's many topics to talk about. And for those who don't went there last year, it's very near the venue of the conference, right, Steph? It's just walking distance, and you're there. You must eat, so go there. It's,
of course, and I heard there's some maybe you don't want to give it away. I don't know, but there's some interesting things on the menu. So
yeah. Is it on the meetup page, Steph? I don't know.
Yeah, for all the Nostr carnivores. So anyone listening, there's some.
Of course, there's a whole Nostr theme, right? So all purple and.
Is it? Yeah, I don't know if it's on the menu already. I mean, the last year the menu was a bit of a secret, but I think people can guess.
Yeah. Well, keep it under wraps. Keep the air of mystery. I think. It's,
Exactly. And we asked you too that is the Lightning Network mature enough for mass adoption? And you were doubting. I saw some doubt in your face.
Okay, we're not doubting it, of course. No.
Yeah, so you guys are definitely mass adoption now. Let's go.
Well,
That's
but if you look at technology, then you see a lot of interesting things happening, of course. But is it mature enough now, or will it be mature enough in the future for mass adoption? I think that's a valid distinction. But keeping it in the middle.
I mean, I do think now there's an opportunity for us.
Yeah.
But we have to do particular things. And the doubt in that question is people who know about Lightning liquidity and node management and stuff, they might say, no, this is not ready. My buddy Aliyah, she really, definitely on that kind of camp. Things have to be a bit dependable for nodes have to be dependable, not necessarily just Raspberry Pis, and those kind of things. But on the other hand, we have a lot of tech. Let's use it.
And
we haven't stress tested yet, right?
Exactly. We know what? No, because we haven't got mass adoption.
and I also think mass adoption, is it mass adoption if only several countries that really could benefit in the first stage from Lightning, or is it mass adoption if only the whole world uses it and then it's mass adoption? I think maybe it's good to do some other things first and experiment more, but it would be interesting to stress test it. So it would be great if all those countries who really can benefit use it on a massive scale. That would be interesting.
And that's what makes like Nostr quite interesting here, right? People are doing more payments and zaps, and they're like excited about the zapping features, whatnot. And we could go into some of the like the market mechanisms and stuff like that we hope to see more people build to be able to have more of that traffic on the Lightning Network. So then we can see like what's happening. And Nostr has definitely been something that kind of started to like propel that.
Yeah, interesting, man. Hey, I see another question about Drive Chain, but we're running out of time, so...
I've put it in the 21 minutes, so it's a whole topic about it.
Just to highlight this, I have not gone into that topic of Drive Chains yet. I'm staying far away from it. I see some stuff posting on Twitter. Hey, man, I'm busy building. We're trying to, so I'm like, that's going to get sorted out.
Are you feeling that you got distracted by those topics, or?
No, I mean, I'm just more focused on the Bolt.fun stuff now, as well as consulting and stuff like this. But in all this and this hub and all what we're trying to do is all projects that I'm working with, whether it's the hub there, Peak Shift, or Bolt.fun, it's getting things from 0 to 1, getting people from 0 to 1. You don't have the knowledge. How do we help them get the knowledge? Which I really love what Nifty and Base 58 and stuff is doing. It's absolutely fantastic. This is really deep dives. We consider ourselves like a bit like more at the top of the funnel, where we kind of like, hey, maybe you're not that interested in this tech as yet. Let's show you an experiment first, and like we'll send you over to Base 58 to get like that proper hands-on deep trading from like some experts and stuff.
Hey, and explain the hub a little bit more, because that's, I think, a new topic that we didn't discuss last time. What do you do there, and what's it for?
So basically, Serbia is it's like a really great location. I've been coming here for like the past 3 years, and I really, really love it here. I like the city. I like the vibe. They have this word here. It's called inat, and I think it really represents the kind of like the Bitcoin ethos, of like a little rebellious, don't tell me what to do kind of thing. Defiance, and it's like a cultural thing here, people who I talk to about the word, they say sometimes it works against Serbia and stuff like that. But I think that there's something very valuable in that, even like during like the lockdowns, 2020, 2021, I had my full freedom to like go wherever, whilst the rest of the world were like locked in their house. So I also appreciated that level of freedom. But what we're trying to, but what it doesn't have so much is a large Bitcoin community, builder community. So we decided, hey, let's do like a little hackerspace. Pleb Lab has pioneered that and set up that standard. Then there's ATL BitLab in Atlanta, HackBS in Prussia. Italy, Lugano Plan B. So we're like, yo, let's get Belgrade on the spot, And so me, Pav, Ugi, we decided to, just get a space where, as friends, we come and work. Maybe some kids want to learn about like some of this new tech and stuff like that. We'll help them, mentor them, and do some research projects internally. We'll do some outreach. So initially, it's more like research, a creative space. We don't want to be just like tech, like the tech part of
Yeah.
we want to blend like the arts.
And make it more fun and creative.
Exactly.
Make it gezellig.
Gezellig, yeah.
Cool, man. Hey, we prepared a lot of questions for you. We're going to focus a bit on Nostr too, because we think that there's a lot of development and we really want to have the take on that
a little
too.
bit.
So we are going, it will be a more of a Nostr focused episode. So I hope our listeners and the people that are watching on YouTube don't mind. But Nostr.
You can use Lightning and Nostr
those two complement each other, right? So
a lot.
It isn't a bad thing. So.
Can I say something for your listeners and stuff like that? Like,
sure.
Yeah, of course.
Like at our hackathons and events, or even like when we consult with companies and projects and stuff, right? It's never about like one technology, right? It's about a stack, right?
Yeah.
If you want to build something innovative, you need to have a stack. Now, the Lightning Network by itself, it has one certain function, payments, right? That's payments.
Main function,
right? Boom, fast, cheap payments, Bitcoin payments. Okay, but then if you're making an app for people to use, right? How do they do those payments? Well, you expect them to be able to like select from a list of contacts and send them a payment request and stuff like that. How is that happening, right? So you need other technology to make that happen, right? You want push notifications, or you want like some more like you want to scan your bills so that you can record. You have details on your transaction, right? So maybe you integrate AI with that. So it's not just about like one technology, and that's especially like with the hub and all what we're trying to do. We need to merge and mix all these people and technologies together to get interesting things. So it is look out a little bit.
Totally agree, man. Totally agree. So okay, I think we're ready to enter the 25 minutes, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Conecte o mundo.
Well, my first question was, what makes Nostr a potential game changer in revolutionizing the internet? But I think you said a couple of things that demonstrated that it could be in combination with other technology. Perhaps can you discuss how Nostr aims to challenge the centralization of the internet? Because you're also talking about identity. So especially when it comes to identity and social graphs, why is this a revolutionary step in your opinion?
Yeah, so I guess like the big part of this is like detaching the data from the application, right? We use a bunch of different social applications in our lives, whether it's chat applications or social networks. I have like 3, 4, 5 chat apps that I use. I'm trying to plus mail, and then like 3 social networks and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, you're like those ecosystems are kind of like walled off, right?
Yeah.
The walled gardens. So what makes Nostr interesting? It's like, well, hey, you have this profile, this identity or whatever, and your access to your data, and this is your private keys, right?
Yeah.
And then now the data, it lives on this, these relays, these servers that are all kind of like, they're expecting the same format of messages. It could be all different types of messages. The message could include like an audio, a link to an audio file, or it could include a link to an image, or it could be some text, whatever it is, right? But now the interface in which, so you have your identity, or like your access to keys, you have the data, and then now you take those access keys and put it into another application and access that same data, but that application might say, show me only the audio, the audio things from this network. And then you have SoundCloud, right?
Yeah.
Videos. Then you have YouTube, right? So now it kind of like decouples it. So instead of being a walled garden where you're having to generate new build profiles and reputation and stuff with all
Following.
these places and put them in these separate databases, now it's actually portable.
Yeah, so you only have one a pair of keys, which can which gives you access to all these platforms.
Everything is attached, so your identity to all the things you're gathering.
Yeah, and you can
mixed
still
media.
generate new identities if you want, but it's not like guarded into like my identity about talking about hackathons and startups and stuff like that. It's not only on Twitter. I want to talk about that on maybe Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, right? Or talk about my company on those. But I now have to create reputation and stuff on all those different networks and sign up for them. Where, like, cool, that identity could be used for those things, but maybe I have another key that, is more for my private stuff, and that's for my chat messages and, or, me posting about ballet. Oh, no.
With other followers, maybe private also, of course. You can use it private. Yeah,
that's interesting. And together with the whole team behind Jack Dorsey's Nostrasia Freedom Conference, you're organizing a month-long Nostr hackathon, but you don't like the word hackathon, so you like to call it the fun tournaments. This is the second hackathon around the Nostr protocol. Can you elaborate how you guys came to organize this and why Nostr is so important in your opinion?
Yeah, so we did the first one and did a bit like it was very last minute planned. I think it was the first ever Nostr hackathon back in March when Nostrica was happening in Costa Rica, and we're like, hey, like leading up to there would be cool, but we basically planned and marketed it like 2 weeks before the conference. And we were trying to get like a nice deep integration where people could, present their projects at the conference and stuff like that. So this time, McShane, he liked what we did, and he's like, hey, can we work a little bit closer? McShane is with Nostr World. And yeah, so we just, had a little bit more time to plan. And we're like, okay, it's a month long. We want to promote sustainable projects, but we also want to promote like different types of things being made. Like the last, like in the early days of Nostr, everyone's creating Twitter-style clients.
Yeah.
They started slowly exploring other things, maybe like Carnage. He did a really cool app where you could like issue badges and stuff like that. So like little simple things. But then now maybe we could like take all those simple things that we built all over those months and then create like more complex, new non-Twitter like things. So like marketplaces, for example, or like other kinds of tools.
Well, let's get into that because it revolves this tournament around 3 different tracks. And can you name them and what the differences are? Because one of them is around marketplaces and value for value, right? Yeah.
So I mean, like, let's start off with that one. So you have Nostr, these keys, this social app framework or whatever. And then a big part of Nostr, the Nostr ecosystem, is Zaps and the Lightning Network, right? So you have value as well as communication and like this data store. That's like a perfect place for a marketplace, right? It's like okay, we could do value for value. Like I'm tipping you for great content and stuff that Connect the World is doing. Okay, cool. But then like maybe you guys want to sell some cool merch, right? Or like how does that happen over Nostr? And you actually see the other social networks kind of getting into that kind of space as well, right? Like Instagram has like shops and stuff that you could put on. There's Patreon. I mean, let's start seeing some of these things on Nostr. And there's nips and stuff already for it, but I haven't really seen many examples yet. So that's the market value for value.
Yeah,
Let's
but
see
given Apple's the Apple Store's recent policy that restricts the zapping of specific nodes, how important is Nostr's decentralization nature in ensuring the continuity of features like SAPs? You already talked about SAPs and using the marketplace for that. So, what's your take on that?
I mean, we are going to have to get creative with it, right?
We already are creative because there are possibilities.
Yeah. So, for example, I think this was like the first one that got their zaps on the Apple App Store without any problems. Or they had problems, but they like worked with Apple on it. It's the current app, right? So they made a post on Bolt.fun. I'll try to send you for the show notes. And basically, Apple really just wanted them to put like an option to have Apple payments.
Yeah.
They weren't forcing you to use Zap. To remove the Zaps and only have the Apple one. They wanted the Apple one there if you have a payment option, right? But you could choose the other payment option if you want. And they got it approved. So that was really cool to see. Someone in our community documented from the team, documented it, and and that's great. And that also opens up an interesting mechanism for like, could that be onboarding for someone? Like they're buying Zap tokens or whatever like this to be able to with their credit cards. That could be cool.
That they have the possibility. And do you think it's sending a Zap or being able to pay on with a Nostr protocol and build something around that is the most important thing for it to grow any further?
I think people we need cool stuff. We need cool things. It's not just about like building this tool, protocol, No, let's build some cool shit that people want to use that's fun, And this is really kind of one of the exciting parts about Nostr where, people are building because it's so simple as a protocol, there's only so much you can do with Bitcoin and Lightning in terms of interactions, right? That's send receive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you can add more context to it and you have a data store, right, then you can say this send receive is for this thing and this thing and this thing, right? So that now the meaning of send and receive of Lightning can change into different things, as well as meaning the send becomes pay for a product, right? And then some of the other data that you have with it is here's your order number and here's how to track it, right? So we need to build just some fun shit.
Yeah. So let's talk about building then, because one of the other tracks is the builders track. Can you maybe explain a bit what the builders track is in the first place?
Yeah, thanks. So the builder track is more along the lines of this is the general build some tool. This one is for the nerds, all the nerds out there that want to do the protocol stuff or whatever, right? Go ahead. Because there's still a lot of stuff that, you have to do on a very low level. There's a bunch of tools that developers might need to use to make, those fun stuff easier, right? So I'm not saying that we're there yet, so we definitely need to build a track. Nerds, I love you. I'm one too. But yeah, so that's the build track. Is a more general kind of build one if it's not focused on marketplaces. And then the other one we have, which I think is kind of interesting maybe for you guys and your communities or other communities as well. It's there's a communities track. So what does that mean, right? Communities track, what are you building? Well, build a community. Well, that becomes interesting because then you're not looking at it of oh, let me build a piece of software. It's let me use Nostr to migrate my community on there or to create some community thing on there, right? How does that look? We don't really know yet because we look at Nostr in a whole as a community, right? But I do believe in these sub-communities and stuff like that because like even on Twitter, you have this big global thing. We always find our community
Very close
right,
to us.
Yeah. Yeah, make it
right,
smaller and yeah.
But okay,
exactly.
More
let's get through both of the tracks. But let's first focus on the builders track. So how important is in your opinion is the user experience
Super important.
in the
Super
growth of and scalability of Nostr?
It's super important. I said it there. Okay, so like we lay out the three, right? The builder track. We do need like a lot more tools and stuff. Like those community managers, for example. Actually, here's an example. We want to hire a community manager for Bolt.fun. We're kind of like getting a bit more stable with like what we can provide and stuff and what else. We want to hire a community manager and we want them to post to Nostr. But how does that happen? We have to give them the private keys. Well, there's a tryout period when you hire someone, right? I don't necessarily want to give random people private keys, right? If they're not going to stay on with us, right? We don't know yet, right? So what is the mechanisms that we need to enable that to happen? Shared accounts and stuff. So I came across like NSEC Bunker. Pablo, he did like this really cool thing. I would love to see like more integrations of these kind of stuff, right? How important is it? It's the early stages of the protocol. So a lot of things still needs to be done. They're always going to need to be done, right? There's always going to be things to be done. But yeah, maybe some folks in those builder tracks can collaborate with people on the other tracks to help support kind of like what they're building to build tools so that they can develop or manage their communities better and stuff like this. Yeah,
absolutely. So it's very in experimental stage now. That's right, because I also tested the hardware signer, right? The NPUB and NSEC signer. Great to experiment yourself. So I think that's very important. And some other problems that currently are is, for example, the current method of typing a Nostr hex public account to domain has limitations and can be a hurdle for new users. Do you think there are possible solutions to not rely on centralized systems like domains? So in NIP 05 is, of course, easy to set up if you have a little bit of know-how. But what kind of builders do we need to solve this?
Oh, this is a very tricky one, man. Very tricky, because what you're talking about gets into the territory, and I know Mr. John Carvalho has been thinking about this problem quite a bit with what they're doing at hashtags and synonym and stuff. But you're going to need a global registry, right? If you don't want it to be domain
and you don't want
based.
that.
And if you do have a global registry, then, how do you protect that global registry so that, and then you're effectively going to have to create a DNS kind of system outside of like the domain name one in order to do that. So it is, that's maybe the builders, maybe those nerds will help us.
To keep it decentralized is so difficult with also with Lightning. So
yeah, I mean, and we have to be able to like at these events and stuff like that. It's like choose your battles, right?
Yeah.
Choose your battles. Don't overburden yourself. You're not going to solve everything in 1 month. Choose your battles. See how you can provide the biggest value to the ecosystem. What could be the most fun for you. But yeah, these are very complex topics and stuff. But there are pathways, and we need to explore those pathways. If that's fun, yeah, join in on the build track. Go ahead, get it done. And but we definitely need more experimentation. That's the thing. More
for sure.
Maybe something hits and people try it out and they like it.
And we know that Jack put up several bounties for the future developments. One of them is to have a decentralized alternative to the platforms like GitHub with Nostr. Do you think this is something we really need?
I mean, what do we really need? GitHub, you know, GitHub started censoring like about which they have to. You know, it's a company, it's a business, it's a registered entity. They have to censor people if they get told to censor certain people, right? Block them from accessing their services, and it's sad, obviously, because you know, like the internet should be for everyone, and something like Git, which every developer typically has to use, right? And GitHub being like the social layer on top of Git, it's kind of like a necessity for you, right?
Yeah.
So if you get locked out of that, then you're kind of like, you're not part of like things that are happening in the world in your field, and I'm sure that could suck. And not everyone in places that are getting blocked or are bad people, and not all people who are censored. It's for the right reason, right? There's no
That's
right or
right.
wrong. Most times when you get on the censorship side, I guess you could have your baseline for morality and ethics and stuff like that, but then that goes into a whole other topic. But yeah.
Hey, the third track about empowering communities is focusing on security, privacy, and self-custody. And Lightning Zap payments currently tend to be custodial and less focused on privacy. Can you talk about the challenges and solutions, probably solutions, related to making these payments more private? So not use everybody uses the same kind of solutions to put it up.
Yeah, maybe someone creates you know, super testnet. He created a tool. He's from PlebLab in Texas. He made a tool for like non-custodial Lightning addresses and stuff, right? I haven't really seen much in the wild with it. I haven't seen like, if it's non-custodial and trying to fix the problem of Lightning addresses, then more people have to have it in their hands, right? The people who would be typically going towards the custodial services, right? So, you know, how then do you encourage people and educate them in knowing about those options?
Yeah,
that works well, very well in the in that community track, right? What does that onboarding experience look like? How do you make it easy for them to understand those tools?
Yeah. And Nostr is of course still in a very early stage. It's like similar to the early days of Bitcoin and also the internet. What do you think could be some killer apps or use cases that would catapult Nostr into mainstream adoption? And don't come with the OnlyFans kind of stuff, because we know that will work. We will want to hear some other stuff.
How did you know I was gonna?
John's already put it up, right?
What's OnlyFans?
Bolt.xxx.
I think let's see some games. Let's see. I want to see things that are bridging like physical and digital, right? Interaction and play between the two with a social twist.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah. Hey, I have here a Bolt.fun question. I'm just going to squeeze it in. Bitcoin and Lightning Network have been criticized in some quarters for being too complicated for mainstream adoption. And we're talking about the adoption. What steps do you think need to be taken to make these technologies more accessible to everyday users? And what role do you see for Bolt.fun playing in this effort in the future?
We're just creating a space. We're just creating a space for people to have fun, learn, and experiment. And I think that's all it takes. That's the first step, right? And it's not later on. We'll see what happens, right? But we need to do those experimentations. We need to have fun. We need to encourage people to learn and build. And long story short.
So we will get there eventually.
We will get there, but it's about the journey, right? The journey along the way.
And then we just ask the question again. The Lightning Network is mature enough for mass adoption. Yeah. In episode 300 and no.
Oh, not so bearish, Edward. Come on.
No, of course not. Thanks again, John.
Thanks, John.
Thank you so much, guys. I really.
Conectează lumea.
So we have to play Lightning Bingo with you, John. And this means that we prepared 3 questions for you. And you may only choose one of them, obviously. And you have to choose between, if you can choose between Dea Reskita, she's from Indonesia Bitcoin Conference. From Dea. Or Severin Alex Bueller from Synonym, and from LNRouter.app, or Ivan Kaludis, and he's from the Mighty Zeus wallet.
Well, you see, that's why I chose upfront, because now you make it difficult for me.
You can't choose. Awesome.
I'll take the first answer there because she's doing some really awesome stuff in the conference there.
Let's go for Dea.
Okay, Dea.
Hi, my name is Dea and I'm from Indonesia Bitcoin Conference. My question would be, what are the things that you don't like about Bitcoin?
Let's get bearish, John.
Bearish. Oh, that's a nice ending.
Oof.
She will listen to the answer.
What's that?
She will listen to the answer. Yeah. She said she's very curious.
Let's see. I don't like that maybe and this is maybe like a human group think kind of thing, like how we socialize, but thinking that there is only absolutely one way to have things go. And I know that's kind of different. That's maybe controversial because some things have to remain the same, like 21 million. Let's keep that fixed. But at least I'm talking the application layer and stuff like that. We need to just try different things out. So we kind of need to be a bit more open in the space. There's a lot of groupthink happening, and we're repeating the same narratives over and over and over again. Yeah. So I guess it's the groupthink and the sameness sometimes that we maybe have to break out of to get a different perspective. Have conversations with people who are not in the Bitcoin space, maybe. Friends outside. Not every conversation has to be a Bitcoin conversation, and that's why I like this word inat as well, because we want to do some art contest here, right? And instead of telling them about the principles of Bitcoin, I'll just use this word, which they could create art around it, right? Inat, which is very linked to that defiance nature of Bitcoin. And maybe this way we can build bridges.
So less drive chains and more. No. But I was thinking, Johns. What I like is that the opportunity to talk with people that are doing the same thing in the fiat money. So perhaps businesses or that are very important for the fiat money world, and then talk with a Bitcoin narrative with them, or maybe checking the same problems that you have and figuring out what can be a combined solution. So yeah. Interesting.
I mean, sorry if I'm getting into this too much, but we're in a time of the world where a lot of people are feeling whether bad or sad, or they have this doom and gloom or bearish kind of thing. But we also live in a very amazing time. We have tools and connections.
Absolutely.
And look at this even, right? These kind of connections.
Magic.
I forget.
Gezellig, yeah.
But Gezellig is super important, So yeah, let's.
But I totally agree, man. I totally agree. It's. I mean, I very often say, also within our communities, what a time to be alive, right? I mean, there's really a big downside of it, all the social media, and I really hate that part. But the other things we are building, you guys are doing with Bolt.fun, all these different projects. I mean, we're just really building our own future. That's how it feels to me. So that's what I really like.
That's amazing. Awesome. Yeah, exactly. So it's a time to smile.
Conecta el mundo.
All good things must come to an end, right, Steph?
Yeah, that's. And Josh, where can people follow you, man? Can you maybe Bolt.fun, obviously, but maybe Peak Shift or whatever you want to shield here.
Yeah, sure. Obviously, you can find me John's at GetAlbi or John's at Bolt.fun on Nostr. John's at Peak Shifts for my email. For the domain. Just search for John's Beharry, you'll find me. Yeah, anywhere, pretty much.
Thanks.
Great.
OnlyFans. There's no only. You're not gonna find no OnlyFans.
No OnlyFans.
Thanks to everybody else for listening, and thanks to all members participating in Satoshi Radio Rings of Fire. It's a little bit, it will be okay. We're embarrassed times, but it will change, and then we're ready. And of course, thanks to everyone helping to connect the world with us, because we're doing that. And if you like our content, then please connect or support us in our mission and visit our website, connecttheworld.live, where you can also donate and subscribe, like, and share our content on your favorite platform. We need you to complete our mission, connect the world. So keep those nodes running and sets flowing and rings burning. And see you all next week on the same Lightning channel. Bye, Johns.